think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
Do not trust any friends or family members. I repeat, do not trust friends.
Chris, I'm glad you're feeling better. Last time you weren't up. Kung Fu January has actually worked out really well. It's one of our more popular months. I'm genuinely surprised about this. I thought for sure we'd see a dip in listenership.
Yeah, I'm not privy to this information, and I think that that's shocking.
Yeah. Like, it's not like runaway success or whatever, but like the numbers are like they're above average for us.
Do you think we cracked the Chinese market?
Maybe that was it. The only one talking about what's important to the Chinese, the Extinction Agenda. That's our T-shirt.
Man on the internet most likely to buy a Chinese EV from Mike Barney.
Oh man. So speaking of Mark Carney, he gave a rousing speech, which admittedly
the big dog, which Davos speech or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it at all. I haven't had time this week, and like he came out this week, right? Like there was a lot going on this week that completely blew over my fucking head.
Yeah.
I had a lot of time.
The summary I got was that Mark Carney, in complex terms, said that the myth of a rule-abiding democratic world order is gone.
Yeah, a little bit of a rupture.
And that was it. That was the summary that I read, and I was like, "Oh, that's it."
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the gist. And then he called for like sane people to band together so that they don't.
Then he said,
by
tiny shit-eating countries band together," and I was like, "Oh man, that's not a great plan."
It's hopeful. In the sense of like let's hope it works. But it was a pretty good speech. I have to say, I hate to give politicians credit, but yeah.
It's like three skids being led by a genius against the hockey team. It's gonna go fucking great.
Oh man, yeah. So proud to be Canadian. It's always nice when they're talking about us. We really like that.
Hey. We give her,
we
best
do.
we can.
Yeah, you know who else gives her the best he can each time, every time?
Every time. Yeah.
Frank Castle. Frank Castle.
Frank. Yeah.
Big Frank. He gives it every time, all the time, just like we do over at the Extinction Agenda with James.
And Chris.
The man on the internet most likely to take out a dozen villages in the space of 2 years. So we're going back to Garth Ennis's. Okay, we got a really enthusiastic response when we came back to Frank's I keep saying Frank's Garth Ennis's Punisher Max series. So and this is some of Garth's best stuff, and it's really a pleasure to come back to. And so that's what we're doing. We'll finish her off today on the Extinction Agenda. We're doing Punisher Max issue 25 through 36, which contains two stories. One, The Slavers, which was from 25 to 30. That's November 2005 to February 2006. And then Barracuda, fucking hilarious. Issue 31 to 36. That's March 2006 to August 2006. I mean, these are 20-year-old comics. That's so strange to say. James, I'm going to turn to you on this one because I know this still is sort of your first romp through these things, and we'll obviously start off with Slavers. Although I'm super curious about how you felt about Barracuda. How did you feel about Slavers?
Slavers was bleak, but also had all the Garth markings, So
Garthings.
Yeah, it was just. I can't believe this shit sometimes when we read The Punisher. and I think about, like, this is offensive.
Yeah.
and the subject matter is so fucking aggressive, and not to mention, like, it's not like I think the really grimy thing about this is that these are, like, this is fictional, but the scenarios are inflated possibilities in terms of the crime scope of it, and then the fantasy of the Punisher enacting justice on these type of pieces of shit is just like a little fucking, like a little chocolate tidbit, like a nice slice of satisfaction. So it's funny, but I do wonder, like I often feel that, like, especially recently, this type of writing content is more censored.
What, nowadays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this kind of storytelling and this type of fiction is widely accepted, and I don't know why that is. Like, if that's just, like, sort of something that's happening in the background, if that's like a generational shift, if that's Disney's fault, if that, we can point our fingers in all different directions. But I mean, like, I welcome uncomfortable fiction. So this was fantastic, but I don't know. I don't know what you do with that. Like, it seems like the property could just be flushed down the toilet at this point in time. And that's a kind of a bummer,
Oh, you mean the Punisher as a
current
thing?
Yeah.
Admittedly, like, and this is a little bit of a tangent. Like, they got Benjamin Percy writing the Punisher right now. They got some other person, and, like, these people are fine. Like, they have, like, sort of pseudo military backgrounds to them, or otherwise it's Jimmy Palmiotti writing it, and he's a good sort of stupid hand. But
he's
like,
fun.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but, like, it's kind of like a 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10, that kind of thing. And so, like, I would, that's not great, man. I want to see some 7s out of 10. I want to see 9s out of 10.
No, Ben can't write a fucking good Ninja Turtles book, so Ben can fuck off.
There we go. You heard it here first.
I don't know if he's ever tried to write Ninja Turtles. I just think he sucks and that he couldn't write a kid's book.
There we go. Chris, you have something to tell us about the potential possibilities of these crimes. You had found something on the old internet.
Oh, right. You mean is the source that I found?
Yeah. Like the Guardian article.
Yeah. So I had there's a line in this about the Moldavian people saying that they have that an unbeaten woman is like an untidy house or something like that. And I was like, do they really? Is that really a thing? So I just started looking that up, and I found.
I'm glad you did that.
This Guardian article from 2004, which actually appeared about a year before the comic was actually published, that quotes that directly. It's very much like, it is clearly the background material that Garth was drawing on for this story, down to the they interview a woman named Viorica, which is the name of the woman that Frank pulls out. So it's just interesting to see the sort of like the Law and Order kind of way that he was going about writing at least this arc, like pulling right from the headlines. It's funny that it was so blatantly done.
Garth is incredibly blatant in the use of his sources. I remember when we did Punisher Soviet, I had read a lot about the Russian experience in Afghanistan when I was working on my book, and I recognized fucking quotes, taken from a book that I had read, scenarios and that sort of thing. He just pulls it whole cloth and then makes it his own. But he does it so he pulls it from things that you're not necessarily going to see, and he does
so many
it in
writers
such a way.
do that. Yeah,
that
writing advice tells you to do, like, read the papers, like find stories that are of interest. Yeah,
that's a Warren Ellis thing. That's it's a thing, right?
Yeah. If you're serializing something like this, like absolutely. I think just to respond to something James said about like the, like why doesn't this happen? I think part of it is like it's Garth. It's he's given like the ultimate take on this character. No one's ever going to beat this because he gets so deep into understanding what Frank is, and the nuances of character, and he's willing to take it to a place where Frank is horror. Like he's Jason Voorhees in a way. He's just like operating in a way that he's targeting criminals and like unwilling to hurt the innocent. So like we can pass it as a superhero comic and kind of like get behind what he's doing. He's a nightmare though. It's like it's fantastic. He'll take to the blackest place and like clear this like quite a difference in tones between these two arcs. This is so hard. The Slavers arc.
I think it's the hardest thing that Garth has perhaps in his Punisher run. Like I recall this being the hardest it went. Although I didn't like the two, and so this also goes to the like what is this fiction that we're reading and why don't we see it anymore? The two police officers, one's a black gay man, and the other's a kind of a I don't know, sort of a masculine, not so smart, tough woman. And she's amongst her fellows at the precinct. She's made N-bomb jokes, or laughed at one. And so we're talking about like, he drops the N-bomb in this book, right? And like it's not meant to be offensive, but I mean it's the climate nowadays is like you literally could not publish that now. And like I don't like I'm not gonna fuss about that. Like I frankly I don't care. But nonetheless, like that's just a real thing, like a so that's part of it.
But that's not structural. Like you could still you can finesse those sorts of details in today's climate.
Yeah. But to James's point, like, I mean, it's very offensive. It goes out of its way in any given moment.
It's uncomfortable. And those police characters, the funny thing about them, their dynamic is it's the, I mean, you see what he's doing because we're going to have the straight versus gay. We're going to have the black versus white. We're going to have everything that shouldn't, everything that shouldn't get along is going to basically like come together and commiserate in their battle against like injustice, and they'll find some common ground together, right? And that's that's a little contrived, I guess, but it turns out nice. Yeah. But those characters are not comic relief. They're not enjoyable. They're not likable, and they're not funny. So I do like the message, and I like what he's doing, but I don't understand. I don't know. I don't think they contributed a lot to this, except for I found them. They weren't even. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I found them pathetic. Like when they. And actually, it was the only weak part of the story. I guess we should tell people what the story is, but like I'll finish my thought and then we'll kind of let people in on what the fuck we're talking about. When they get the shit kicked out of them by their fellow police officers for speaking up against the sort of conspiracy that's been established, and then they're all beat up or whatever, and then they go and talk to that social worker, like looking like they had the shit kicked out of them, and the social worker doesn't really like. It's not weird or anything. Like I don't know if that got addressed like by some sort of offhand comment, but it struck me like visually as very strange. Like imagine a police officer showed up at your door with missing a tooth, their lips swollen, one of their arms is in a sling, and you just act like it didn't happen. You didn't ask like, point. Oh, what happened to you? Right? Like it's crazy.
The only thing I can think of is that they've been falsely accused Frank of beating the shit out of them. So and this woman, the social worker, knows about the Punisher, obviously, because she's set him loose on the slavers. So maybe she's just but yeah, it's not addressed at all. Like I'm really pedaling to kind of come up with something, and it is it is a weird thing.
Yeah. Okay. So what is The Slavers about? It is about human trafficking of women from Moldova. Is that, do I have that correct? I didn't write that down, and I'm not reliable on remembering names. The Punisher kind of stumbles along into the existence of this sex trafficking ring. And, everything that you would expect to flow from that flows from that. But meanwhile, the police are increasing their effort to fuck around with the Punisher because the sex traffickers know, what is it, a DA or something, like some sort, or an investigator, a detective, I forget, who puts some pressure on some sort of police captain and kind of talks him into, if we could take down the Punisher, you'd get a promotion or whatever. So like there's sort of shitheaded chicaneries in the background, kind of complicating what would otherwise be like a pretty simple Punisher plot where injustice occurs, Punisher shows up, murders motherfucker, everybody's satisfied, right? So he's got and this all comes out over 6 issues. This is a 6-part story.
Yeah.
And it strangely enough, it doesn't feel flabby. It still feels pretty tight, but what I just described doesn't feel like it should take over 6 issues.
No, yeah, we're bouncing between these worlds, like the slaver, like Christu and his insane old man father, who's like founded this sort of like outfit that killed like villages just like indiscriminately, and then found a more profitable thing to do with the survivors, and then the cop faction, and then Frank. So it plays off each other pretty well, although I agree with James that the sort of like following the two officers is a bit dull. And then you got the social worker too, who's kind of like trying to convince anyone that it's worth investigating, because part of the thing is, and I would like to eat some crow here, because last time I said that, like, what do you do with Frank after what we witnessed? It felt like the high point of the series. And I'm enjoying this a lot more, quote unquote, enjoying the story is to take. But like I'm interested because like here we have 2 stories where Frank is misfit with these crimes. Like he's not equipped, and it makes a point of showing that he's not equipped to deal with like the actual problem here. He tells the social worker directly, nothing's going to change. I'm about to kill these men, and I don't care to follow up like with anything else. Because it's like it's bigger than him. It's like it's not street level, it's international. And the other story, as comic as it is, like looks at sort of Wall Street and like white collar crime. It's like it's a fun thing to play. Like like how would Frank deal with these situations? It's really just kind of delineating what he is with these sort of awkward fits. Very cool.
Oh, I love that. That hadn't occurred to me.
Yeah, that's a really cool take, because the this is the similar to the not similar to the conversation we had, but like the talking point that you just brought up is interesting, because we were talking about how Frank is death, I think, in some of the other conversations we had. And then also one of the big issues with Frank being death is that we are not concerned about Frank dying. He's not in danger of dying because he's like death incarnate. So how do you make that interesting? How do you make Superman interesting? He can't be defeated. He's invulnerable. And you make him interesting by making him battle something that he can't defeat. And for however futile it is for him, he's gonna put his best foot forward, and he's gonna sort of like haphazardly seek out help in sort of a kind of a almost like a helpless way. Like there are elements to this where he's, like you say, he's just helpless, and he can't do anything to help victims. He can't do anything to better the situation, so he's going to kill people and slot that in as the best he could do. And that's cool, you know.
Yeah, I think something that kind of ties this all together is I noticed in these books there's a shift in tone in like or a shift in like the way in which the story is told. There's a shift towards noir. I know that's always been there, but this felt more like an airport novel noir. I know I always refer to these books as airport novels, but listen to this opening. You know, like it began a year ago in the rain on a pitch black Brooklyn night. By the time it had all finished, I knew the rain would fall forever. The slavers, right? And she's like firing in the gun, and so it's a flashback and talking about the rain and the dark, and he's really doing like a gumshoe detective kind of work throughout this book. And as I understand it, you know, like one of the themes of film noir, or noir, and I guess we can even see this in something like Blade Runner, is that the individual engaged in the detectiving is trapped in something bigger than themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
And
law
so,
is not really a recourse.
Yeah. And so noir is always part of the Punisher, but like this one just felt like it like Garth shifted gears and made it more noir. Like all this Punisher talking to us, like just to jump ahead to the Barracuda, when he's getting on the plane and he's talking about all the mistakes he made, like I didn't bring a gun with me, first mistake, you know, all that stuff. It makes him seem more helpless, but it's still, but not incapable. You know, he's still the intrepid hero or anti-hero in this case, but his weaknesses are more strongly prevalent. Whereas in the stories we've seen up until this point, Frank doesn't make mistakes. Or if he makes a mistake, it's because someone dug up his children and pissed on their skeletons, you know, like, and so he's furious. But like otherwise, like maybe he'll lose a fight or something, but it's not because he did something stupid or careless. Or anyway, I just think that kind of maybe puts a pin in what we're trying to get at here with what's happened in these stories.
Yeah, the genre slid a little bit.
Yeah. And if I remember, I mean, it's going to slide back towards, you know, Mother Russia. I think the next stories we're doing have the Return of the Man of Stone. So
yeah.
Also, I don't know, how'd you guys find the art? The artwork was outrageous. Great.
Oh, Mr. Leandro. Yeah.
Wow. And the color. I don't know if you guys picked up on the color, but the it's just heavy blacks and high contrast, and then like the guy loves to flare the page with like muzzle flashes. Mm-hmm. He'll do like a shock page when there's a gunfight and just go to like all orange and reds, and it's just like it's a nice effect. It's great, and best thing about this. I don't know, like, if you guys pick up on this kind of thing, but, like, if I get through a book and I'm like, holy fuck, and I'm, like, torn up by the story, and I'm, like, shocked and appalled by the events, and I didn't think once about the art, it was good. It was good. If I have to go back and be like, that was fantastic, why was it fantastic? I'm just going to flip through high-level pages and take a look at what was done in the coloring, what was done in the art, how was there consistency throughout, and then you go back and you look and you're like, it's because it was phenomenal. That's why. But anyway.
And this is one of the more effective. Like, another reason I was very much looking forward to talking about the Slavers, not because it's a fun ride or whatever, but this one hits hard, and like Garth always has the ability to bring out emotions and that sort of thing. But when at the end, when she has that breakdown at the diner, you know, she's just like screaming in the street, and people are just sort of ignoring her. Like she's just lost in the bustle of the city, and it looks very much like, you know, your sort of New York diner or whatever. Breaks the heart. This story kind of breaks the heart. And then also goes to some really, really extreme, violent places that I was like, wow.
Oh my goodness.
You know, like how do you even think of that? What the fuck were you doing, Garth? Because it's not...
there was a few scenes that really.
Well, we might as well. Yeah, like what? Like the fucking intestines, just like so.
In the tree. Oh yeah, you don't have to die from this.
Yeah.
Like the best is how they played it out too. I think in the next page, he bled to death.
Yeah.
bled to death or whatever within 2 hours, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
That's
like,
the issue that starts where he's got the human. He's looking at the bookstore, looking at the
human anatomy.
Human anatomy.
Oh yeah, great cover on that one too.
Yeah.
And then the dinner scene, the dinner poison. Oh
yeah.
God. Like, just fuck me.
Word hungry. Allergies. He just blows that guy's brains out because he's like the one guy who's like that didn't succumb to the drugging.
So as much as like, and all that shit's super cool and super disturbing, and they lead up to it extremely well. Like, I can't imagine. I wish that I had read these issue to issue as they were coming out. You know, that's one of my regrets in life. Because like the issue prior to so what is it? Issue 28 when he's reading the anatomy, and the fucking the cover is just incredible. This is maybe the best Tim Bradstreet cover of all time. The cover of issue 28, like the human anatomy book open and Frank's
and the knife.
yeah, that's so unusual for Tim Bradstreet. It's actually a good cover.
It really is.
But before that, so okay, we've got a couple
and the
things
lighter fluid. Sorry, like the foreshadowing of.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's a couple things that play in the lead up in issue 28 or like the tease. Frank's reading about the origin of Christu, or is it Christu? Is Christu? No. Tiberu Bulat. This I guess he's from Moldova, but he has been fighting in Yugoslavia in the past, and he was like killing a bunch of people and raping and do all sorts of bad things. And then he decides, like, in that hellhole to like steal a bunch of women and start a sex trafficking ring. And so here's what Frank has to say. One way or another, the Badlands of Eastern Europe have been at war forever. They give the world its hardest soldiers, always have. Men who play soccer with severed heads in kindergarten yards. Blah, 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 blah. The things I'd have to do to break those men, to make them talk. And then pause. It just shows the knife, like he's all like, he's almost contemplative on how cruel he's going to be in this moment. And the knife is jabbed into the table. And then that social worker is just vomiting in the next page. What have I done? And it's just really sets up like the god of death has been set in motion. And we get, and then the next page, like the next issue, he's reading about the human anatomy. And you're kind of like, I would have loved to have had the excitement of like, what awful shit is Frank gonna do? Tune in next month. That would have been so cool. But the thing that's at play is sort of, I don't know if I'll call it a myth, although it has a reality behind it. Like, I mean it like myth in the terms of like Barthes, Roland Barthes, like the myth of the Eastern European soldier. The idea of the Eastern European barbarian, as you might say. And Frank has encountered this raw Eastern European barbarism. And so this is his, it's the natural, like, these are some of the worst people you're ever going to encounter.
It's almost fetishistic, like when he's taking them all on, like on the pier, like he's like victors who knew how many shootouts. They killed their way down from the Black Baltan Mountains. An old familiar dance begins, and it's like, and he's contrasting it. He's like, these are not the like common ghetto criminals that I'm used to dealing with. Like it's going with the place, Yeah. And like that stands out, and like that comes from I couldn't tell you exactly where that comes from, but it certainly comes from Garth's ingestion of military history. I would imagine. I bet there's a book somewhere out there about like sort of the myth of the Eastern European soldier and what they are and what they amount to, and kind of like the Finns, James, in Stormwatch.
The fin. Yeah. Which, interestingly enough, I did read about the fin. Yeah, I read about the fin. So the myth of the Finns is that the Russians came in the Germans and the Russians agreed that they would sort of like annex large portions of Finland, and the Germans got the most of it, and the Germans they got their asses handed to them by the Finnish army when that occurred. And so the myth was, well, the Finns are tough as shit or whatever. But the real story apparently is that, they had some success early on, but the Russian military, like the sort of story that historians told or that the West told itself was that the Russians just threw waves of meat at the Finns and kind of overwhelmed them with just like sheer numbers. But it's much more the case that the Russian military just made adjustments to the tactics of the Finns and overcame them in the way that you do in a military operation. Yeah, right. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And so I think that's why this thing about the Eastern European soldier kind of stood out to me, especially in this instance, because I was like, oh, like there's something else. There's something deeper at work. There's like a military historian's mythology that Garth has ingested and regurgitated through the Punisher in this moment.
Yeah, and then probably the recency of the what would have been the recency of the Serbo-Croatian conflict, Bosnia, all that, stands out.
Well, whatever description Garth's giving to our artist here of Tiberu or whatever is deeply disturbing.
Yeah, it is.
He is a I don't know. He's like a caricature. He's like a Borat.
He is. Yeah, that's the funny thing about these villains. They don't look menacing, really. They look like goofy. They kind of look like goofy Eastern European guys. Like that's. I think that's
until he goes to see Vera, and I get real uncomfortable.
Sticks his fingers in her mouth.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh man, how can you make something that's probably one of the least violent? It's grotesque sexual violence, obviously, but in terms of the violence that occurred in this book, it's probably one of the tamer violent things, and it was like one of my more uncomfortable things in the book.
Because what he does in that moment, she's a business partner, she's an associate, she's part of the ring, but he sticks his fingers in her mouth, and it's like he turns her into an object. It's the threat of what he can do to women, and you just feel it. It's so gross and uncomfortable.
And she kind of knows the game that's being played, and she's sweating and being obviously very troubled by what's going on, but she kind of sucks his finger. But yeah, and she's the one who no one's very good in this story, and so you don't really mind that she gets a taste of her own medicine, so to speak. But it is, it's not great.
Boy, does she get a taste of her own medicine.
Yeah, this is. I know where we're going with this, but it's interesting.
Holy
because
fuck! I forgot about that.
Yeah, because we've talked so much about Garth's ethic about women, and hitting a woman is the worst possible thing. And here, Frank has room in his heart for a brutal murder of this woman, and she's a couple times in the Punisher. We didn't really talk about it last time, but that there's another human trafficker, dealing in children in the past episode, and his mom was involved somehow, and he's like, I wasn't sure I was going to kill her, but he died. He has that police here. It's interesting to see how Frank approaches women criminals, and boy, he goes hard in this one. Yeah, I forgot about it's shocking how much it's not that any of this sort of deadens you to the violence. You're always made uncomfortable through all of the violence. But there's so much of it. I literally forgot that he took a woman by the arm and repeatedly smashed her against unbreakable glass until it broke. Because it didn't. It's only 2 pages.
No,
3 pages. Oh, it goes on for a while. Yeah, it's a good 6-pager. Good 6-pager.
It's grotesque. It's the I think it's page 3 for me when she's like and her feet are gone. And I'm just like, oh my god, he's fucking butchering her. But then he's like he's talking about the way that they break women.
Yeah.
Rape them to break them. That's what you said, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes on to the story. And it was just a god awful. And then it shows the sort of like superimposed images of her, and you're like, oh yeah, you deserve it. Get her, Frank.
Get her. That's that's what allows Frank. I mean, I've said it time and time again, like the violence against the reprehensible whitewashes Frank's activities. Frank's relationship with the innocent whitewashes his activities. And it makes it safe for the audience to sort of root for him. And I didn't mind it, like when he's like, it had been a long time since I hated anyone the way I hated them. You were like, yeah, that's right, Frank.
Yeah,
you hate those pieces of shit.
True.
The worst one, the one for me too, is the like, I'm stronger than you, so I can do anything I want. Isn't that the way it works? And he's just holding her by the arm, and you just imagine like he's not panting or tired. It's just so easy for him to kill her, and he's just holding her like a rag doll, and it's just fucking violent.
Yeah.
If you hit the window hard and often enough, maybe 25 or 30 times, eventually you'll bend the frame.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Just like letting her know. Of course it doesn't last that long. He just fucking boom right through, and beautiful.
The crime scene too with the bloody boot prints and shit. Just something. Just something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Beautiful. We should probably move on to the Barracuda, I think, unless there's something especially to bring.
Oh,
up
we
here.
got just the old man's end. The little snuff video he makes for like the Eastern European context, sending it back to the NTA.
That's right. Oh yeah, and he's like, he's delivered this message. He never came back.
Just the way that it's delivered too, like you have Frank with the camera and like just the angles it gives you, and like the sort of setup, just builds this tension of him like flicking the lighter, and that full page spread of the guy like just on fire.
Yeah, so great. I can't imagine drawing that. Leandro Fernandez, he, if I'm remembering correctly, he's what's that story with the Immortal Warriors that Greg Rucka has done? They made 2 movies about them. Old something.
Old Guard?
Anyway. Old Guard. Yeah, I think it's Old Guard. He drew those stories. Now Greg Rucka doesn't have Frank or Garth Ennis chops, not by a fucking long shot, but he too is interested in the military stuff and the violence and the whatnot, and it's a pretty good fit. But knowing that what Leandro is capable of, Mr. Fernandez is capable of, it makes me sad that there's not more of this sort of behavior out there in the world. But then again, this must have. I would really like to interview. How did you feel drawing about this? Just, when you put pen to paper day after day for a 6-month period. Be like, what was that for you? Because he's got at least a year's worth of collaboration with Garth Ennis. Anyway, one day maybe I'll.
Ennis is the anti-Morrison. Like he always is paired with the perfect artist. Like going from that to the cartooniness of the Barracuda arc, so good.
Oh, Mr. Parlov, yeah. He didn't. I looked up Goran Parlov's history with Marvel Comics. Prior to this, he did some issues of Black Widow. I'm sure he has other comics other than that, like sort of like in the European scene, and maybe at some other publishers in the West. But like where he made it in at Marvel, it was first for like 3 or 4 issues on Black Widow, and then Garth took him. Alex Alonso was like, come on down. Punisher Town, and this is this might be their first collaboration, Garth and Goran. But it's going to, whether it's their first or this is still early in their collaborations, and it's going to bear some like fucking incredible fruit throughout their career. And you can tell immediately because the Barracuda is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
Just like the perfect story for the perfect artist. How'd you feel about this one there, James?
This one surprised me. I won't lie to you.
I bet it did. I bet.
Just something else. It even opens. It's so bad. The guy that he finds, they were fucking me. They said I was worth keeping around. I was like, oh, what the fuck, Garth?
Frank's like, that's a new one.
Yeah.
You happen to see where they kept the coke? Floorboards off the ball. One of them made me do some off his balls.
And I was like, I just knew we were getting a different arc immediately.
Yeah. Even though it does open up with it's a 1 page where a shark's eating a body, and then a 2-page fucking spread. I would love to see that. Just like bodies everywhere with sharks, and the sea is fucking red, and then a full page of Frank in the aftermath, watching someone get swallowed by the bloody sea. And then to the goofery, right? So he does a good job of like keeping that serious. Like we're not going back to Welcome Back Frank territory. Your Steve Dillon, Garth Ennis collaboration. Like whatever comedy he's going to insert is still going to be framed by like utter fucking horror. This is a strange one. Chris, you were saying this is about corporate crime. It's a weird mix of different, I guess, high and low, where the Punisher is the low and Barracuda is the low, and not to like give moral airs to the just like it's the corporate class, right? Maybe like high class versus low class is maybe what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Well, this whole arc had a lot more fun for me, and the characters were a lot more like animated. Like I don't know why I was kind of rooting for that guy's dirty wife.
Me too, man. Alice is my favorite character in this. She's
What's her
cunning.
name? Alice?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the whole 4 inches.
Say it to everybody as you get in. She just enjoys emasculate. Like, and again, so they depict her as like a bad hottie or whatever, but like Garth's very careful to make sure that like the audience, like the male audience, doesn't really fall in love with her. Like, they don't really mind when she's gonna get fucking murdered real bad. And I think the way he does that is to like she's emasculating. Is the crime that kind of allows us, like a Frank reader to be like, yeah, that bitch has to die.
Oh man, that's what I liked about her.
Oh, I see.
The way that she was like, when Leary's, like when she seduces Leary, the sort of like protege of the firm, and then he starts like choking her, and she's like, "That's the fucking spirit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. I don't.
Yeah. Fun.
So I don't. Okay, but I was thinking of like that moment of humiliation where she makes him say to a crowd of people, I'll give you the first 4 inches. I'll give you the full 4 inches.
She's mean. Yeah. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
But her wanting to goad on, like she's manipulating him, but like goading him on for like really rough sex, like that's cool. That's fine. that didn't bother me.
Yeah.
And of course, Garth's like, you want me to fuck you? Yeah. Is that what you want? You want me to fuck you? That'll do for starters, cowboy. And like the face, like the way that Goran draws it, he draws her like the most slutty Mary Jane Watson you're ever going to get.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's like right there in the description. Yeah.
And the best is the Barracuda intro.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. Oh, actually, sorry.
Bitch, you dead? You what did he say? You best get to sucking my dick. You're not. Whatever, if you ain't.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
And she's like literally like she's halfway to being dead. She's obviously overdosed, and it's just a nightmare.
I absolutely love. I didn't know this. I didn't pick up on this, but I've read a quote from Garth. Like he was interviewed, and he said that the inspiration for Barracuda was the Stagger Lee myth, particularly the Nick Cave song. Like, which is like just about like the baddest motherfucker you could possibly come across, and like he's just gonna like kill you as soon as he looks at you. So like that tracks, and it's so fun. I when I first read this, I was disappointed because it felt like Barracuda could be an adequate foil for Frank, like a long-term kind of villain. And I know that this is not the last we see of him, but it just
spoilers.
The sort of like sorry, but the cheerful optimism, like compared to like the sort of like dourness and sort of like black humor of Frank, the sort of just the sort of equal match in terms of being lethal could I just want to see more of it. And I know now, following what you've put out on the Punisher and all that, like I understand that part of the thing of the Punisher is that like he doesn't have recurring antagonists because like why would he? He kills everybody, but it just felt like a missed opportunity. But like now, like going back and like just taking it for what it is, really, really appreciate this.
Yeah, the way that Garth gets around that is they like him and Goran have a. I don't think we're gonna do it. Maybe we'll get around to it one day. It's like the origin of Barracuda, like or Barracuda miniseries. With Goran Parlov, like a 5-issue one where it just like tracks his life up until his death, I suppose. And I remember it being really funny and actually a very good comic. And him, Garth gets to say some things about world politics and stuff like that because Barracuda gets up to the worst shit that you could imagine. I was thinking actually of the Barracuda, the moment. So fine there with the woman on the dock, but when there's those black guys, like the black gangbangers and the Humvee and the music's in the background, motherfuck all y'all, it's in the background. It just keeps repeating. And then Barracuda like fucking blows up their vehicle. And so he's killing all of them. And the guy's like, and the music's still in the background. He's like, fool, turn off that bullshit. But it's kind of like the audience gets to have its cake and eat it too in that moment because it's just it still says like motherfuck all y'all, and so you get that gangster rap vibe to him, and I think it's like it made me what you said about the Stagger Lee thing made me think about this scene especially because like the musical inspiration for the Barracuda is obviously gangster rap and rap culture. Like violent gangland culture, but Garth does in this moment, like there's that fat dude in the Public Enemy shirt running away like a fucking coward or whatever. Like Frank, like Garth is careful to separate the Barracuda from that shitty, stupid, sold image that is attenuated to attached to pop culture, but still wants to keep the attitude. And the vibe behind it, and so like it's a very cool magic trick. Like he's like, I want to really use that vibe, but that vibe's bullshit. Yeah, but that vibe's not. That vibe is fresh.
Yeah. And then the like, I love the stuff that guy's like begging for his life. He's like, get in the trunk. Yeah. He goes to call. Thank you. You gonna, if you're gonna act like a bitch, I'm gonna do you like a bitch. He just like kidnaps him to throw him to the sharks. Incredible.
Well, okay, even the guy like when he's closing the trunk, he's like, "What?"
So like this was absolutely required though after the Slavers, like a little bit of a Garth Ennis romp just for the sanity of the audience, and I think what helps is that the Barracuda is just like immune to pain. So in his first encounter with Frank like cuts his fucking fingers off, and despite the fact that for like I guess 4 issues, or maybe 3, I don't know, the Barracuda like literally has no fingers on one of his hands. You never get the impression that he's like disabled or troubled. You know, it's just like he's missing one of his teeth or whatever.
That joke of like, it's because he's so cheerful about it. He's saying, like, oh, this cost me a few things. And the guy's like, well, how about I double your salary? He's like, oh, I'm glad that you honor your debts. But then that like the guy who got fucked by the coke dealers, he's like,
when he reads his
teeth, yeah, Bucky.
You best leave.
His tone changes,
Yeah. Yeah, and Frank like fucking because he gets jacked at the airport because Frank wasn't paying attention, and so he gets put in a trunk. But like Frank is absolutely lethal, despite the fact that he has a concussion. He's injured. He's getting the shit kicked out of him. Like he stabs out the Barracuda's eye, and then chops off his fucking hand through the exchange. It is on now, motherfucker. It is on.
I got all day.
Yeah.
Chokes him with barbed wire.
Oh yeah. Yeah, right? And it's just like the pleasure of this is you get like Frank at no point actually seems weak because he's giving it 5,000%, despite the fact that he's getting the shit kicked out of him. He's fighting as hard as he can, and like I don't know, there's like something as an audience member, you're like, okay, you know, like he's not being done like a bitch. It's just like he's encountered a scenario that's really hard, and he's going to fight through the whole thing.
Yeah, unlike the previous arc, I actually enjoyed the sort of like Wall Street cult sort of thing that the lead guy has going on in his plan to, like, you know, we realized during Hurricane Katrina that we could charge premiums for electricity. So our plan is just to cut power to the state, and we'll do it over and over again to other states. And like, just, you know, the sort of realization of like, you know, anyone who's on life support, anyone needs light to get down on the street and not be like robbed or whatever. Like that's going to cause all sorts of human chaos. But like from the high point of Wall Street profit, they're like, who gives a shit? Like, we're going to make money. We're going to enrich our investors, and everything's going to be cool.
And later
Frank's
on,
like, well, should I care about this? Like, and
yeah. And then he was like, a body count. Actually, there's a body count attached to what they're doing, so that solved that. Like, if basically if people are murdered through this, if the violence extends to like people's to loss of life, that's when Frank takes a hand. Not always though. But I mean, I guess that's his line. That's like when he's trying to evaluate complex situations. He's like, you know, like, do people die? Okay, I know what to do.
Even he's like sort of like prey to the sort of abstraction that kind of crime, you know, operates at. Yeah.
I want to put forward a radical hypothesis, or not hypothesis, position. My position is that this. The coloring is much better in the Barracuda. It's much more lush. It's less. One of the things that made the Slaver so visceral, but also like a little like difficult to look at. Not just in terms of content, but in terms of like what the eye can see, is the lots of contrasting yellows and reds and backgrounds all kind of smeared or whatever. I'm not against it at all, but if I had to like sort of rank efforts, I think this one comes off a lot better, or at the very least, or you know, even cleaner. If you don't like it, like it's cleaner, and it's much more varied. It's less expressionistic. It emphasizes the thing on the page in like that. It does what the coloring is supposed to do, which is like make things pop when it needs to pop. It makes it look such and such, you know, like when it needs to be such and such. And that's very like, that's my technical phrase for the whole thing. But anyway, I don't know how you feel about that, especially James. I don't know how you feel about that, James.
Yeah, it's just a totally different tone, right? So this artist, I don't know if I super cared for him when the book started, and then he really I don't know, he really grew on me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the combo with the colorist or whatever is interesting because it's almost like for Frank, this is like a location change too, right? Because where are we down in Miami? Yeah,
I think
so I mean, like they brightened it up, and it felt like this. I don't know if you guys have ever watched the show Dexter, but they do a similar thing with their color palette in that show because of their location. So they do this. There's like a Miami TV shows have a Miami color palette. Where like you're going to get these baby blues and these waters, and you're always going to be everything that happens is going to be under a bright sunny sky, right? So I don't know. This book has that palette, and the locations are funny. It's like the Barracuda lives on a houseboat. They're down at docks. They're on boats. They're so you know what I mean. There's some people wearing Hawaiian shirts. So I don't know. It's cool. It's cool because it's a welcome, like you say, it's a welcome change, and it's a mindful change that's like consistent through the book. It's different.
I think the change of location is something I don't think I emphasized in my mind enough, and frankly, that in and of itself is enough to explain the palette change. I think you're right. It's the Michael Mann palette change.
I like when Horace gets his legs eaten.
Oh my god!
To throw some in the water, and then he tells him that he's the worst kind of coke crack dealing gangster. And he goes, "Oh, pleased to meet you, Horace. I'm the Punisher." And just feeds him to the shark.
Him and Horace are comic gold together. That was great.
Fucking epic, yeah.
And at the end, I think cementing the idea that this ends up strangely being a lower class versus upper class thing. The Punisher and Barracuda actually team up at the end of this story, despite their animosity. It's a very superhero kind of moment. They fight each other and then they team up to beat the actual bad guy, which is corporate America, and all of its fucking bullshit. The charges are set, Frank, blow them. So they both, because I guess at that point he was trying to work with it's kind of like the Barracuda he should have just stuck with Ebbing or whatever. Like, is that the main corporate guy? But he tries to make a little bit more money with like the skeezy hoe, and her boyfriend or whatever. And it's kind of his downfall, you know? Just trying to make more money.
Everybody's downfall.
Although her plan is actually really good. You know, they're gonna like pin all the stuff on Harold or Harry? I forget the name. The main guy, like the CEO. And then just
Dynaco.
Slide out from under it and just be like, yeah, that guy represents none of our values. Like, just kind of the ease on in. And that is sort of like one of the themes of this is like in the end when Frank's planted the charges on the boat and Dermot, they managed to disable them, and he's like, you're an idiot, Punisher. We're an institution, not some tangible enemy you can fire bullets at. No one will stop us because everyone who counts is on our side. Going to that theme that you're saying, and then go. Why don't you leave us alone and kill some N-word drug dealers? And then that's when Barracuda's like, I rearm the charge.
Yeah. Now waste the motherfucker. So James, you might remember Goran Parlov. He illustrated Starlight with Mark Millar, and we were pretty enthusiastic about that at that time.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I won't even know where to begin with this guy talking about his virtues. But one thing that I would point to is the explosion of the yacht. It's a page. I'm on Hoopla right now, page 133 of the third collected edition. You know what? I have the other ones all in, but I don't have volume 3 of the Punisher Max collected editions, and like I think you went down this road once too, James. Like it costs like $130 or whatever, like to get this goddamn comic nowadays.
Oh yeah, they're weird. Which ones did I get? Maybe a different volume, but there was
so.
one.
I think you had one or two, or yeah,
they're tricky to get. One of them was on like reprinted at Indigo, or maybe they just had a few left. But yeah, it seems like they're not interested in reprinting these either anymore.
They're doing an omnibus edition, or have done an omnibus edition of the first. Like they're going to have 2 omnibuy, I think, that collects everything. Maybe 3 all told of all Garth's Punisher business.
But those are crazy.
No, it is. But I mean, I'm just saying, like that's what they're doing with it, which is kind of a shame. But anyway, sorry.
Is it worth it or is it not? Yeah.
Yeah. Tangent. My fault. On page 133 on Hoopla. 1, 2, 3, 4. For the 5th panel, the yacht is exploding. It's not a full page explosion, right? It's not played for that. But the explosion is depicted with so few lines, with such, but nonetheless, like such, I don't know, like visceral force. The coloring does an excellent job of bringing out the explosion as well. I love that panel, and it's kind of the kineticism that's always at play in Goran Parlov's work, his capacity for cartooning. All of his characters act. You know what their emotions are. The backgrounds are never skimped on. You know where everybody is in space and time. Like it's fucking great. But it's still like, and it's kind of like an old timey style too. And for him to be illustrating something so violent, and I don't know, I'm not going to call it adult, but I'll call it adult. It's like that contrast is really interesting as well.
Yeah, the explosion, that scene plays out like a film reel too, like just sort of like 4 or 5 panels, but they're all like sort of in a strip, and it's just like page after page of that. It's really like a cinematic effect that like you don't notice it, but like it is really just, it feels like you're just immersed in the story. Yeah.
And then of course the ship sinks and whatnot. There's the big faces and everything, and Frank's just kind of sailing away.
Everyone being eaten by sharks.
Yeah. It shoots someone. Boy was a strong swimmer. Couldn't have that.
Shoots him in the shoulder.
And then I love this ending, man. What's the only thing more dangerous than a barracuda? And like you look at the shark. Shark is contrasted against Frank. Frank's flying away or sailing away. The shark's sailing away. That's it, man. That's fucking great.
It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's both of them. I didn't catch that, but I like that.
Yeah,
they have the mutual respect.
Yeah, I guess they kind of frankly, I think they have a little bit of a moment between each other now that they're both looking at each other, and the shark kind of comes out of the water, and like he doesn't have an arm or anything, and he can't like give a thumbs up, but he can open up his mouth a little bit to show some like gore on his teeth. That's how a shark gives thumbs up to the Punisher. Fucking incredible. Yeah, I just this is such a joy, and it's such a contrast against The Boys. Just to kind of bring it back there and to explain like why we haven't returned to talking about The Boys. Like as much as that is an interesting book, it's not fun like this. It's not propulsive like this. It's not crazy like this. And it's I find that very strange that Garth, left to his own devices to literally do whatever he wants is actually more restrained than what he does with a corporate property, or what he ends up doing with a corporate property.
Yeah. I think part of it is that getting in the weeds with like the sort of like indulgence in military history and like those sorts of projects that he likes to bring in.
Yeah, it's true. He gets in his own way. Garth can't be trusted with a 60-issue series. he just can't. God bless him for like he never does it anymore, and like maybe he realizes it. Maybe it's there's probably lots of reasons. I was listening to an interview. He doesn't really have plans for long form comics, but mostly like 12 issues is his going to deal with, because he likes to write everything like basically all at once. So that way, when he gives it to the artist will know where everything's going, and if they have to do a setup for the finale, they're not going to draw something stupid in the first issue that they'll have to fix by the 5th or something. So I think that's contributed to his lack of long form series, and like frankly, he can just stay away from that.
Hey, as the Punisher aficionado, is this the best? Not the Barracuda, but I just mean like Garth.
Oh yeah, like Punisher Max, absolutely.
By country mile.
Country mile by a country. I say it all the time. I didn't want to say it again, but yeah, for sure. No one really comes close. And I've sampled all the wares. Actually, the only person whose run is it's not as good, but it is very good, is Greg Rucka's run on Punisher. I've said this in the past, but I'll say it again now. Very good art too. I enjoyed it. I compulsively read it when it came out. I couldn't believe how consistently excellent it was, but it doesn't hold a candle to any of this. Garth has said in interview that it's just so easy for him to write this character, and for lots of reasons. But he just understands the character, and I believe it. Because great stuff. Anything else on Mr. Yes, God bless him. God bless the little children and Garth Ennis.
Yes, we prop up Garth. Garth is the man.
Unless he's writing The Boys, and then we're kind of ho-hum about him.
Yeah. I still like The Boys.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine, but we are seriously ho-hum about him. Like all this hyperbole about how Garth's the best just went right out the window.
It's true. The Boys tires me out a bit. I don't know. Maybe The Preacher would have been better.
Yeah. I guess we'll see one day.
Someday.
Yeah. But between now and that day, next week we're going to be doing The Matrix here on the X-tinction Agenda. And then Chris and I are going to do one of our Watchmen episodes. And then
Watchmen number 5.
Watchmen number 5, and then it's February, and you know what February brings? Well, first it's going to bring more Punisher comics, but then it's going to bring love stories about love, and but only the sort of, I don't know. Actually, I didn't really have a thing to say about that. I guess the sort of love the X-tinction Agenda experiences. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's
as for our audience.
Yeah. Yep. I failed. Bad ending. My fault.
Yeah.
Bring it to an end here.
People say you don't understand social media, the internet is real life. And it's like, well, because you participate in it, it becomes your real life. I mean, look, I do not want to be the middle-aged guy holding forth on these things either. I'm well aware that there is a great schism between generations at the minute, and I don't want to add to it. I don't like it when teenagers and 20-year-olds are blamed for things that are beyond their control. I mean, for instance, I'll give you a very obvious one. These kids who walk down the street looking at their phones, not looking where they're going. Well, that's not fair, because you and I know that started as soon as texting was invented, and that happened before those kids were born. Yeah. So that's not fair. At the same time, I do think a stepping back from social media would be good. Then, on the other hand, I think a stepping back from pretty much everything would be good. When Keir Starmer made that remark recently about a more gentle politics, a politics that isn't in your life, I thought, I'll have some of that. That sounds good. This sort of ideological shit that's poisoned its way into the mainstream, that I suppose leads to exactly to what I'm talking about. You must have an opinion.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, to me, government is something that just comes and collects the bins and runs the schools and runs the hospitals. To me, that's as interesting as politics should get, really, isn't it? In your actual day-to-day life.
I think I mentioned the amateur expert. What scares me about that is eventually you get Trump, because you get Boris. Let's have someone to liven things up a bit. Let's have someone who isn't corrupt to begin with. Well, that's silly, because politics is as serious and an important a job as any other. You hire a plumber to fix your bog and a mechanic to fix your car. You do not hire an amateur to run the country. That's the kind of thing I'd like to step back from. Those, of course, are ultimate examples, catastrophic examples, but they're where it goes, I think.
This is a very online administration, and they define their enemies as such. It's funny, I always used to think when I was younger, I was like, oh, that'd be cool to have an online president. Of course, the monkey's paw curls.
Yeah, I know exactly but how you feel.
Wait, why did you think that'd be cool? It's hard for me to now imagine.
It'd be cool to be famous on the internet.
Because at that time, it was like Obama and just all these very stiff statements on Twitter. It was just so boring. And it's like, come on, man, let your hair, come out and say something, join us out here or something. I don't know. It was dumb, but that was my feeling. Everything just felt so sterile and boring.
Yeah.
And it's not sterile and boring. And now I wish it was.
I would love to do a flash mob, wearing a hoodie.
Yeah. It's so innocent, right? Yeah.